Happening now, firefighters are out in the Lincoln National Forest trying to get the Curtis wildfire under control.
Yeah, it started yesterday afternoon and has already burned at least 200 acres. That is up last night, and this may only be the beginning. News 13's David Romero is keeping an eye on the fire. He's here with the latest. Good morning once again, David.
Good morning, Matt. This is what we feared the most during this dry spring with all these nasty winds. It's those same winds that will continue today and could make this fire grow. The Curtis fire, as it's being called, started around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. This is in the mountains just east of Alamogordo. Now, the latest word from fire officials is that the fire has already consumed about 200 acres. 20 homes in the area have been voluntarily evacuated. 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts have pushed the flames in the northwest direction, according to fire officials. Right now, crews from the U.S. Forest Service and the Otero County Volunteer Fire Department have responded, along with 5 engines and 3 water trucks. They'll also be bringing in bulldozers later today in trying to set up a line around the fire. But a huge key to fighting this will be cooperation from the weather and have those winds die down. Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you, David. We certainly hope those winds die down. Kristen will be talking about that in just a second. Firefighters say they think people started this Curtis fire, but they do not know who. They do not know if it was on accident or on purpose. Elizabeth.
So far, the weather has helped the firefighting efforts. Cooler temps rolled in the evening. Yesterday, though, huge clouds of blowing dust and low visibility hit across New Mexico. Up north in Raton, snow fell for hours, turning the spring day back into a winter scene.
All right, and we were talking about the wind earlier and the fires, and basically I did want to let you know the winds have calmed down the southeast, which does help a little bit down that way. But yesterday, down in the Sacramento Mountains, we saw wind speeds or winds gusting between 50 and 70 miles an hour. We are going to see the winds pick back up again. They have died down, but the cooler weather is going to help a little bit when it comes to fighting that fire. Right now, though, you're definitely going to want to bundle up as you head out the door. 27 in Albuquerque, that's what it feels like. 17 in Santa Fe. It feels like 32 in Roswell and in the mid-teens across the Four Corners. As we head through the day, temperatures will be in the mid-30s through 9 o'clock, and we're only going to make it into the upper 40s. Watch the winds, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, and then we'll see 15 to 25 mile an hour winds this afternoon, gusting at 30-35. So overall, less wind statewide, no wind advisories to talk about today, but it is going to be very blustery and make it feel very chilly at times through the day.
And you know, that snow that fell yesterday up north left a mess on the roads. This is a live look now from nmroads.com. The biggest problem right now is the Raton Pass. It is closed. In fact, I-25 is shut down in both directions all the way to Pueblo, Colorado. Other trouble spots here in New Mexico are all up in the northeast part of the state. US 56 is closed from Springer to Clayton, and US 64 is closed from Raton to Clayton. Be careful out there if you're headed out. And happening right now, the search is on to find exactly how many people died and after this massive explosion that happened at a fertilizer plant near Waco, Texas.
Yeah, in fact, the blast was so strong, people 45 miles away could feel this thing. It was also caught on this cell phone video that has gone viral. Watch this.
There. Looks like it just jumped out the window.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, you okay? You okay?
I can't hear.
Come here.
That is an incredible blast. In fact, this morning the AP is telling us anywhere from 5 to 15 people are dead. CNN is saying that 2 people are dead. The plant was already on fire, as you saw there, when it exploded early yesterday night. The shock wave, as you can imagine, was enormous, strong enough to flatten buildings for blocks all around the plant, send flames shooting into the night sky, and shrapnel falling far away. Now emergency workers are going door to door hoping to find people alive trapped under all the rubble. More than 160 are hurt. They were in the hospital right now. There weren't enough ambulances to go around, so state troopers and sheriff's deputies gathered everybody at this football field and loaded them into their cruisers and raced them to the closest hospitals.
It could go up by the minute. We're in there searching the area right now and making sure that it's safe for any of the other people that are around there, and the firefighters are trying to be safe and go back in.
Investigators are worried that some of those who died might have been police officers and firefighters, particularly volunteers. This is not the first time this fertilizer plant has had problems. Back in 2006, it did not qualify for a permit, and last night folks in the area said the ammonia smell from that plant was extremely strong.
Be sure to stay with News 13 for the latest on the explosion at the fertilizer plant in Texas. We will have updates here on KRQE and at KRQE.com.
And in Boston, investigators could have a huge break in that marathon bombing case thanks to some surveillance video from a department store.
FBI
this
officials
video
say they
shows a man talking on a cell phone, putting the backpack on the ground, then running away when the first bomb exploded. Investigators say they're trying to use facial recognition software to figure out who this man is. Meanwhile, President Obama is headed to Boston today for a prayer service. It'll be tonight to remember the 3 people who were killed and more than 170 who are hurt, including 14 who are still in the hospital in critical condition. And it did not take long for people in Albuquerque to lend a helping hand to the folks in Boston. More than 500 were at the ABQ running shop last night. They raised more than $3,000 for charity. Some of them were runners who were actually in Boston for the marathon. They were there when the bombs went off. They were safe. Now they're back in Albuquerque wearing their blue jackets here as a sign of support.
It means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to all these people too, that they want to show that something like that can't stop love of being together and running.
All the money raised in yesterday's run is going to 2 charities in Boston, one for athletes with disabilities, the other that was created right after the bombings. And make sure you keep it here on KRQE News 13 and KRQE.com for the latest developments of the bombings in Boston. Elizabeth.
We are expecting to learn more about what happened with the Rio Arriba County Sheriff's Office after FBI agents served a search warrant on the office in Espanola. It happened yesterday. The Sheriff's Department's lawyer says that agents were interested in a number of documents and that the department cooperated with the FBI. The feds are not saying what they wanted or why. A video that has popped up on YouTube apparently shows a Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputy getting mad at a woman. But the Sheriff's Department says that video does not tell the whole story. Kelly Cogdill admits to agitating the deputy. It happened about a week ago when deputies were called to help animal control catch a dog on a run on a road in the South Valley. Now, the dog had apparently mauled a 16-year-old boy who had to have stitches. The hunt for the animal caught the attention of residents, including Cogdill. Deputies asked people to return to their homes until the dog was caught. However, Cogdill refused. 45 minutes later, the deputy started yelling at Cogdill.
Her eyes were bugged out, and she made me mad, and I know I was like in her face back telling her, you know, this is the stupidest thing I ever saw.
Well, BCSO says while the deputy may have gotten heated, she did not violate any policies. The dog who started it all was eventually caught. The teen who was bit is expected to be okay.
A change of plea hearing is set for today for the former Albuquerque firefighter accused of working with a Mexican drug cartel. Steve Chavez was thrown back in jail 2 weeks ago for visiting a casino. It's a violation of the conditions of his terms of release when he was out on bond. The federal government arrested Mr. Chavez last year. They say he helped set up the drug deals for the Sinaloa cartel. Probation officers say Chavez went to the Sandia casino 5 times in March when he was supposed to be working. Chavez is still waiting to go on trial, but is being closely monitored while he's out on bail.